So for that to happen, I'll have to go back to my paint volume, and I'll have to create a Boolean variable to check whether the player is already inside the trigger. And if it is so, then if he's inside the trigger, then keep on taking damage. All right. And if he's not inside the trigger, that would be event actor end overlap, which means that he's outside the trigger. Then we'll turn this boolean off and it'll do its thing. Okay, so I'll just create a boolean variable first. Okay, so let's name this variable as is in volume. Okay, and then before we take the damage, what I'll do is I'll get the volume in here, and I'll say set as volume, and I'll set this to true, and then I'll go ahead and ask it to take the damage. Okay, and we're gonna need one more node, so I'll move the tick below, and I'll say end overlap. So that is when the actor or a character is jumped out of the volume. What we want to do now is we want to reset the is in volume variable to its default value, that is false. Okay, so when he's inside the volume, then we're gonna call we're going to set the is in volume to true, and then we're going to take a damage. Now after this, we're going to see whether the guy is still in the volume or not. So if he's still in the volume, then we're going to ask it to take more damage. That's how we're going to do this. Now we want to check whether is in volume is true, so we just drag the variable and put it inside the condition. And if it is true, then we first add a delay. Okay, we first add a delay, and we add a delay of, let's say, 0.5 seconds, or it's totally up to you. If you don't want a delay, then it's gonna run real quick. And then once that's completed, I want to take the damage again. I want to call the take damage again. So I'll do that, and I'll just reconnect this to this. Okay, and of course this is something I have to reroute. Not this. I'll just move this a little bit so that I'll understand where it's coming from. There it is. Okay, and there you go. Right, so now that once that's done, I'll just double click here and like that. Right, so that is pretty much it. Now of course I can move this here so that it will look a little neater. Okay, so again, so if this is true, okay, if is in volume is true, then we take damage, and then we check whether it's still true. Okay, and if it's not, then it automatically goes back to is in volume is false, right? So this thing, once the actor ends the overlap, once the actor jumps out, when the character jumps out, is in volume is false, and then it cannot really do anything. It cannot really get inside this code. But if he's still inside, then we wait for 0.5 seconds and we go back and call the damage. Right, so let's compile this. Let's go back and let's see if this works. Okay, so right now it's 1 and 1, so perfect. Now when I walk inside, and it's gonna start taking okay, I think, yeah, there you go. I wasn't really inside, so now it's gonna start taking the armor away, and then once I jump out, it's gonna start regenerating it, right? So again, I can just move inside again, and now it'll start taking the health away, right? And now if I walk out, if I jump out of the volume, you can see that the health stays right there, but the regeneration is happening. Okay, the armor regeneration is happening. So pretty much exactly how we want it, and of course we'll tweak it going forward, but it's working pretty fine. There's one little thing that we'll have to do is we have to go back to HUD, and we have to check whether for the regeneration of the armor, we want to check whether this thing is even regenerating. So if you just go back to, I think, third person character, go to event graph, and inside the event tick, and this is on complete. So we can say whether event tick, inside event tick, I'll see whether, let's see. So in fact, we can create a variable here, and we'll say should regenerate. Okay, and this will be a boolean, right? And we'll compile that so that this is inside third person character, and out here, once this is inside the paint volume, first thing we'll do is before we actually even cast it, no, after we cast it, I'll just move this to the right. Okay, and I'll first set, I'll move this guy to the right as well. I'll first set should regenerate to false, okay, because by default it will be set to true, and we haven't set that yet. We'll do that right now. And also we will add a reroute node like this. That looks better. There you go. Right, and we will set this to false, and can also let's see, we'll also cast this and cast to third person character. Okay, and we don't really need to check for anything, so we'll just make it a pure cast. By right clicking, we'll make it a pure cast that we don't have any execution nodes. And as third person character, we'll just say should regenerate. That will be true. In fact, we'll add a delay of like 0.1 seconds, delay of 0.1. We don't need 0.2, so it will be a minor wait period, and then it will go back to true. Okay, and go back to third person character, and we will keep this by default as true and save that. Now when you hit play, and now when you go there, that's still on, and when you go inside, you won't see that flicker. Okay, and okay, that's because we haven't really checked here. Even though we have created this variable, we did not really check here. So this will be we'll have to create a branch. Okay, unless the branch is true, unless this is true, unless this is only if this is true should it go ahead and regenerate. Okay, when I hit compile, when I hit play, this will regenerate because that's going on. I mean, in fact, it's got nothing there. So if I move in, there you go. And now once you go inside there, you won't see that flicker anymore. Earlier you had that flicker. Now when I move out, 0.1 second later, the regeneration is going to start. Okay, and when again I can walk around and I can do my things, and then again I can walk inside, I can just jump inside the paint volume and it'll start depleting again. Okay, when I walk up the stairs, that will stop, and of course I will not be, now I can see the entire thing regenerating again and exactly how we want. And we just made a little tweak and we made that look good. Okay, so I'll just wait till everything is fine, and when I move in there again, the depletion is starting and also the health is depleting. And now when you do that, the health is staying the same because the health is not going to auto regenerate. In fact, the health is going to be pickup based, so you might have something to pick up and the health will reach you will regenerate your health that way, but will not have the health to regenerate automatically like the armor. Right, so that works pretty great, and that's about how to regenerate your armor and take damage away from your health or take damage away from your character. All of this works great, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.